amazing architect designer from Bassetti Architects in the wonderful PDX, Portland, Oregon area. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, as you know, Lydia, K-12 really embraces radically student-centered approach and design and work. And as we were talking, what comes into play when you guys design or in your brain on how you look at things with, student engagement, student voice, student choice? What do you do to help schools understand your perception of that?
Well, it's so important to get that perspective from the students because, as we try to design schools to meet the needs of the entire community, and that includes the students. One of the things that we really try to encourage our clients to make sure that they're understanding is that is not an optional exercise. That really is important to make sure that we're hearing from them as well and their perspective because they're not going to see things the same way as the teachers or, maybe their parents. They have their own experience that is valuable. First thing is to convince the leadership to let us do that. And then we try to just be very creative in how we engage with students, just like we would do any other community engagement or user group engagement, because not everybody is comfortable sharing their opinion. So it's giving a breadth of being able to understand from many different perspectives what the kids are thinking. So that might include surveys. So you kind of give the chance for students to anonymously answer a series of questions. That would be one way. The other way would be to engage with them in kind of a very hands-on approach and something that's maybe really tied to trying to get to the bottom of what they're thinking with a design problem, maybe with the school at hand. So we've been successful with going through design thinking classes, like a curriculum that we've developed in a couple of cases, most recently with some of our projects at Portland Public Schools to help uncover the things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily uncover if you're just asking questions in a big group, So that might be allowing students to go through understanding like what their maybe their perspective of what's important or what is comfortable to them, help them define things and really brainstorm and iterate and not only talk about it, but have the opportunity to show us. So, that's through like images or graphics or, examples that they can think of. So that's a couple of ways. I think one really successful project was actually designed with the students a construction mock-up for one of our buildings. And it was with the school that had a CTE program. So all the students from several CTE programs were able to participate. And it was over a course of 2 different semesters and many different weeks. The students really got engaged with the design of the school and understanding the materials and why we might choose them really participated in helping with the construction project.
I'd like to go back to something you were saying. So when you were approaching a partner and you're talking about getting the student empowerment and the voice in there, do you use case studies, data? How do you help convince or sway the district of the importance of this?
Well, I think maybe, yeah, case studies, I think, is probably the best example because we can show them how that engagement had an impact on the outcomes of a design. So, we have several examples that we're able to show, and there's, not just our own work, but the work of others. One school does not fit all, and, every community is unique, and that's something that we really strive to make sure that everybody understands. And so the students are just one piece of that puzzle. And we've had a lot of fun trying to be creative about engaging with them. But, there's also community members, the alumni of the school, if it's a renovation, the leadership of the school, the staff of the school, anybody that really has kind of a vested interest. It's important to let people have their input.
That's incredible. So when you're, I think it was, working with the students on the CTE component, what exact was the day-to-day interaction or your interactions like with them?
So we were working with one of the CTE instructors at the school, and there was a curriculum that was mapped out over the course of like 8 to 12 weeks, but working through the design problem. So they were, given a set of parameters, and these are the materials that we can use, but working through that design problem that they basically essentially were building a tiny home, which was a project that their construction CTE program already had a tiny home program, but we were tying it to the design of the school to be able to, interact with them. And that kind of gave them insight on how architects and engineers, work in their career. And then we brought in the contractor. We brought in some of the stakeholders from like the school itself, the leadership at the school, to and the district to help be part of that process. So everybody was kind of, listening and kind of going back and forth and, critiquing and analyzing. And in the end, the students, one design out of the class was selected to kind of move forward to be built. So that was exciting too. The construction students framed it and sheathed it. The electrical students wired it. And then it was brought to the site, the construction site, and the contractor used it during construction for the lightweight materials for a mock-up. And then at the end of the construction project, when our project was built, the building, they donated the contractor donated the tiny home to a homeless village.
That's great. That's great. Do you think the students understood the relevance in the moment of what they were doing?
I believe so. I mean, I feel like that this is just one example of many projects that we were able to do with the students. We also had like class visits where we brought in, different people from our design team or the contracting team to talk to students as a class. There were tours. We were able to kind of show the kids the building being built, and there were kind of stations set up throughout the building where they could learn about electrical work or mechanical or whatever it might be. And then we were also able to do work with the digital media CTE to work on some graphics that wound up being installed in the school. So I think through this process, the students that were at the school along the way while the building was being designed and built felt connected to the process and, maybe a sense of ownership in a way. Some of these things wound up in the finished product, but they were connected with the team that was working on their school.
That's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you, especially, as an educator and a parent and doing the work we do. I want to thank you, Miss Lydia Burns, for empowering our students and including them in some of the work that you actually do.
Well, thank you. It was very special during one of the tours to hear one of the students just kind of ooh and ah about what they were seeing and say, man, I just really never thought that I could do something like this someday.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Great. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
of course. Thank you.